watch the circle power. It's been hot.
Right?
Yep, you're good.
Call this meeting of the Tucker County Board of Education in session. All board members are present. Will you please stand for the pledge of allegiance?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Nothing under public comments, nothing under student delegations, nothing under recognitions and presentations. We're down to reports. Davis Thomas.
I'll make this semi-short this week. I'm giving you a packet of information, and there's a lot of data there. Thank you. I think, you're welcome. I think you have all the pages. I just wanted to highlight a couple of things. As you know, attendance was a main goal for the county this year, to be under 20% chronic absenteeism rate, and Davis Thomas decreased, and they were at 16.4. So within that year's time, we decreased it 4.762%. So I think that was an awesome goal to achieve. And then the daily attendance rate increase, which you want to see as well. So I also highlighted that 85 out of 174 students missed less than 10 days of school, which is 49% of our student population. Of course, we have the same chronic absentee students that we continue to have, and we've addressed that through various means, as you can see by the collaboration with the communities and schools, with incentives with Mrs. Kyle and spelling out perfect in attendance, signing of a banner, attendance trophies, attendance trips, meetings, calling the parents, texting the parents. So it's a never-ending communication. And I think that communities and schools has really benefited in that respect. And of course, we lost Mandy Museely in the middle of the year. And, but she was able to come in and sub a couple days a week here and there. So when she was there, she would make those connections. So that's attendance. Well, I'll talk about testing in a minute. The counseling program is also a success with Ms. Farmer. We still do the Alveus bullying prevention. We actually got a grant to continue the program for next year. So that will be at no cost to us. She goes into the classrooms, especially the elementary grades, and teaches social and emotional learning and tips and tricks, and they love her and she loves the kids, so I think that's a highlight. Other positives, I just listed some things that I thought worked well at Davis Thomas this year. The phonics program continues to be a success. We're thankful that we have that. I hate the thought that we're losing Janelle, but Samantha Mudge is going to slide right in and fulfill that position, and she's another Janelle. And within 1 year, I could tell that much already. So that will be a perfect fit. Now we'll just have to have somebody in second grade to replace her. ANOVA I know there's always this, some like it, some don't, what do we do? But Davis Thomas saw a lot of success with it. I observed in multiple classrooms, the kids are interested in the math. They love math. When can we do more math? The lessons were hands-on. Is it an unconventional way of thinking? It is. I mean, I went in one lesson and Val was asking me a question. I couldn't answer it, and I'm a math person. So we got Mr. Kaler, middle school math teacher. He's having trouble understanding what they wanted with it. But some of the kids, they don't think like we do. They're able to figure out some of the problems faster than I could, just the way that they can talk and think with math. So I don't know, within our the testing, you'll see a little bit, there has been growth in our benchmarks, and I think we'll continue to see the growth. But with anything else, it's going to take time. And I've been fortunate that my teachers have embraced it, and they diligently follow it. They do fill in some holes where they think there are gaps, but I think over the next few years, we'll see a difference in their way of thinking math. So, yes. Young writers, the 3 first place winners from the county were from Davis Thomas, so I thought that was a big achievement. So I was proud to send, I think 2 of the 3 got to go to Charleston, so I was excited for that. We also had social studies and science fair participants that came to the county level, but I don't think they went on, which is still, it's still neat to see the progress and the projects and what they do. So I'm glad that came back. The greenhouse should be finished this month. I know it started in 2020 when COVID hit. So we're going to celebrate that. We're hoping to plant this fall and get things going, and I know the kids are really excited to see that progression.
It's the day when that started.
Well, apparently 2020, and then everything got shut down, and the Rubenstein Center couldn't come and help because nobody could help anybody do anything. So all the pieces and parts laid there, and thankfully, knock on wood, none of them were missing. So the frame is up. It is shocking, very much so. So we're excited to get that up and going.
What teacher's gonna be using that?
We're going to probably have each classroom teacher like kind of vote on what their class wants to plant. Just that way they can all take ownership in it. But hopefully the CTE portion, then they'll be involved with the weeding and taking care of it more. So yeah. Prim was out and about every day. We had to invest in some tall trash cans because she likes to dig into the trash. And if she gets loose, she's going to the cafeteria or the kitchen.
Prim is gaining so much weight because everybody gives her treats.
Yes, and
Good
she
classroom
knows.
And in the kitchen.
She knows which classrooms have the treats. Miss Chelsea keeps treats.
Definitely not starving.
Oh, she's not starving. No, like she is spoiled rotten. There was one little girl that would cry every morning at the end of the year, kindergarten. She wanted her mom. She did, and how we got her to come into the school. Can I do some Prim? So she'd go love on Prim 5 minutes. Prim, and we would walk her to class, and the little girl's fine. So things like that. Sometimes if a kid was having a meltdown, they would ask for Prim, but other times they're like, no, I don't want Prim. But she has just been a tremendous, like, I'm a dog lover, so of course I see all the positives, but just smiles on the kids' faces, the staff's faces, and she's an asset to school. So it's been cool. And Erin and I had to actually go through training to recertify so she can get insurance. So I'm like, oh my gosh, we're gonna fail. Because it's like, stay, Prim, and she's bolting. We're proud to say that she did all her commands, like she didn't forget anything, and she is insured for the next year. So.
Kitchen staff brought Prim for her research.
Exactly. My girls, my personal children, says, Mom, we weren't worried about Prim. We were worried that you were going to pass. I said, yeah, so was I, because I'm kind of a pushover when it comes to animals. But and then we had the school store with PBIS and bear bucks, and students who behave would get a bear buck from a staff member, and that went really well. We're thankful Miss Seasley was able to take a group of Davis Thomas students for the first time to Fairmont to compete. And I think our students had quite a high score on the robot competition, so we were excited about that. We love Officer Stigley. The kids love Officer Stigley. He's like a big kid
He
himself.
was in the parade the other day, and I mean, like, the kids were flying in, like, everyone's yelling, don't go out in the street, but
They love him. When I pulled into the school at Christmas and saw him on the roof of the school in the Grinch costume, I prayed that he would. The kids just, they love it. It's just such an experience. He fits in, and
He's like a big kid.
he is a big kid, yeah. And so I've really appreciated his help as well, so he's great, but don't tell him I said so. We kind of played jokes on him. The joke was, we kind of, had a little student driver sticker and put it on the back of his squad car, and we just have fun. We like to do that, so.
Nothing wrong with that.
No. The school has established a school beautification project. As you know, I think our building's the oldest in the county, and it looks at some, inside the bathrooms. And so we are working towards renovating the bathrooms and redoing the playground, and we're getting donations and things for that. We're doing a Run for It team this fall called Prince Pals for a beautification project, so that's for that. We're being in such a small school, everybody is on every committee. So we're just like one big happy family, but they wanted to take the initiative, like, hey, we need to improve some things around here, so they all work together. I'm lucky with that. And Kim Lipscomb is thrilled. After all these years, we're not going to be dinged on not having a fence for the preschool. Like, they're dinged every year because we didn't have one. Erin Craigley, she's like the mastermind of getting donations, and Lowe's donated us a fence, no charge, and the maintenance crew put it up. So I thought Jody was going to do cartwheels down the hall. So now the big thing is to get some equipment for preschool.
So it is all installed?
Yes, it looks fabulous. Yeah, the maintenance crew did an excellent job.
So what do you do first?
What?
So you said playground equipment for the preschool,
Yes,
but there's a project for the rest of the school, so what's,
it's kind of like double, like Jody's working towards more money for her preschool, and the beautification project's working more for the big playground.
so it's two individuals?
It's to kind of, but
It isn't what he.
it is, yeah, but we're working together. Like, I know through some of the grants, they'll help Jody write a portion of grants. Like, I did through the foundation, I think they got like a $10,000 grant for the preschool playground. So everybody's working together. Yeah. And then the after-school program was a huge hit. I was worried when we didn't have a bus, thinking, oh boy, numbers started out strong. I figured they would dwindle, being 4 days a week all year. We averaged approximately 25 kids every night, and
Especially with the bus.
with no bus. So, and, I mean, there was a lot of carpooling and things like that. The parents were so appreciative to have that for the after-school tutoring. And then they liked the extra activities with Bonnie, and so, but it was a great program for the school. So I thought 25 students was fantastic.
Yeah, that you consistently stay,
Yes,
like, we typically see high numbers to begin with, and then even with a bus.
Right.
Like, it dwindles when, sports season start,
Yep.
or, camps later in the year, because you want the camps and things, and you had really consistent
Yes, we
numbers.
did. And Lisa Anderson was really good at having the kids read. She took control of that part, and I did most of the math. And it worked well, and we had Val that worked with Bonnie, the FRN, to do the extra activities. So, yeah, it was good. Now, the next few pages, this is all data from iReady, and I did just take out the graphs for iReady because there's some misleading data. For iReady, we tested in grades K through 2. But however, at the beginning of the year, we also had all of the students take the beginning of the year benchmark so they can have a pathway to work on lessons. I took that out because I wanted to focus on K through 2 data with iReady. The ELA, that first graph, I'm going to have to relook at that because it's not accurate. I based that on the whole school and not just pre-K to 2. I got distracted because Anderson visited me this afternoon. But the first box is, I'll send it to you. But if you look at kindergarten data, the BOY is the beginning of the year, then the middle of the year, and the end of the year. If you see at the end of the year that 88% of the students were proficient. And, which is great growth. No students are in the red. Red is bad, as everybody hopefully knows by now. So no students were in the red. We have a good, strong kindergarten group coming up. First grade, the growth wasn't as good as I would have liked. But by the end of the year, we had some issues in first grade behavior-wise. It proved to be a challenge for Mrs. Anderson to teach. It was a challenge for the students to learn. And hopefully next year they've grown, and I've been researching some things to put into place next year for second grade. And I know we'll probably talk about the new House Bill Wednesday at our principals meeting to see how that's going to work. But I'll talk about that a little bit. But that was first grade data. And then second grade data, you can see that the growth is there. We are definitely making gains. It's neat to see the beginning, middle to end. The second page is the math growth. And that's correct. I know I did fix that one. If you look, students are going from the beginning of the year to the end of the year. They're growing consistently. Some of them are not where we want them yet. But this, if you think about that, that's all with the new InnovaMath program. So only 8% of our students in grades K through 2 were below grade level in K through second grade. I'm just repeating myself. I know this is a lot of information, and I'm not going to read it all to you just because I think that insults your intelligence. But if you go through it later on and you have questions about the iReady, let me know. You can email me, text me, whatever. But then the next packet of information goes into the state assessments. I broke it down. This year in grades 3 through 8, we use the Cambium assessment portal, which is the exact same thing as the general summative assessment. So students were able to become familiar with the testing and how it looks. The first packet's all English language arts. First page is every student grade 3 through 8 who took the assessment. And if you can look, it says summative, which is the end of the year, benchmark 2, benchmark 1. And what we see is the red decreased, which is fantastic. We started benchmark 1, only 20% of the population of students were proficient, and we raised it to 38. Now, would I like to see more green and blue? Of course. But there is growth. So then the next page, I broke it down to the next page is the elementary. Then the third page, I broke it down to the middle school level. And then if you look on back, I printed each growth from 3, 4, up to 8. That way you can see, like, for example, third grade, their first benchmark, first time these students had seen this type of test, 72% were in the red and 28 were in the yellow, meaning none of our students in third grade were proficient. Megan Helmick, I thought was going to have a heart attack. She's like, I don't know what to do. She was very stressed. And as you can see, 44% of her students ended up being proficient. So when you look at the growth like that, it makes you feel much better than just, you know. But that is all ELA. Do you have any questions about those?
to get our 8th graders?
To take it more seriously?
Yeah.
That's a great question. I don't know. I mean, because like if you look at the 8th grade ELA, 54% were proficient. I only had 13 students who took it. So you hope some of them take it seriously with that small
Right.
percentage of students. I don't know. That's the $1 million question. How do you make the 8th grade take it seriously? Because they whiz right through it. Reading, they take a little more time, but if you look at the next packet with math, 8th grade, 30% were proficient. Oh, that's science, sorry, I lied.
15.
15%, my 2 gifted students.
So total just 14 kids in
In the
the
whole 8th grade. Yes, that's it. That was it.
It was a small group.
Very small. Yeah, I would say the 2 are the gifted, and there were at least 2 that had special education services. So, yeah.
Like the science they seem to do better on, I think, because the test doesn't take as long.
Right, right.
Traditionally, anyway. But. And do you think, like, what did we start with in testing ELA?
Yes.
Like, do you think if we flipped it,
I thought about that too, to do math first. I think we tried that at Tucker Valley one
There's
time.
also been some conversation about not doing it in 1 week next year, because we do have that testing window to maybe do the writing portion as soon as the testing window opens. And then have a break and then just do ELA 1 week, math 1 week, science 1 week, because we have plenty of time
Right.
so that whatever test is the last test they take, they're tired of testing.
Yeah.
They're tired of sitting there, they're tired of focusing. So, there has been some conversation with teachers and principals about maybe spreading it out. Some counties do that and have seen success.
And maybe that's worth a
It
try.
might be worth a try.
Yeah, anything's worth a try.
I would like to try something.
If
Right.
I knew I had to go and just sit there for a
Yeah.
couple of hours every day, I know I would zone out.
They were
Yeah.
excited just to have the break on Wednesday in the middle of the week this time, so.
definitely.
That would be a good
idea.
That sounds good. But if you want to dig into these scores and have any questions later, just let me know. We're seeing growth. I want hopefully to see more. Any questions? But our biggest challenge at the end of the year was the behaviors. And 1 in pre-K, 1 in kindergarten, and 3 in first. They gave me a run for my money. They were not scared of Officer Siegley. A couple of them ended up suspended because they would get violent and hit and get bloodied and they had to be restrained. And it was not a good feeling at the school at the end of the year. Alicia came up one day and got to see what was going on, and so I've been, like I said, researching different things that I can do and to try to support the teachers in any way I can, and because that's a learning environment, and these few students are taking away from that tremendously. It's heartbreaking. It's
And
heartbreaking.
those students could have possibly had an impact on test scores in grades 3, 4, and 5 because they're in that hallway. And every day, there was students being removed from the classroom screaming at the top of their lungs during assessment time.
Yeah.
We wrote it as,
An
we
irregularity.
wrote it up as an irregularity, but some kids have triggers. Some kids can't handle screaming and lose their focus and maybe can't get their focus back.
Right.
It was definitely a challenge.
I remember some of them I had in kindergarten.
Yeah, it's, and you don't know what to do.
No.
It's like, at times when the one student would totally be out of control, she wouldn't remember that she had destroyed the classroom.
Really?
Oh, yes, yes.
Oh, it's so different than
It's-
anything we've ever experienced. It's so
What do the
different.
parents say about this? Trauma.
Trauma. Most of these kids have some type of traumatic background. The one dad had said something about homeschooling because he was fearful of it for the other kids and didn't want his daughter impacting them. They're all in therapy. But the parents have been supportive. One's a foster student. Like, he's in foster care, and I don't know, parents, they're doing the best they can with him. They're all from broken families. Every single one of those students are from broken families.
Are they in regular classes all day long?
Yes. None of them are special education students.
They don't have any assignments with counselors or any of that?
Yes, Anne will pull them. Sometimes they'll go, let's say, intervention with, well, Janelle at the time, just to get them out for a break. I would take them on walks, whatever we could to avoid a crisis. But at the end, what worked the day before did not work the next day. There were a couple of times I had to send students home that were completely melting down. The kindergarten, the reality, students were afraid, did not want to go to school, and that breaks my heart. Like, the Davis Thomas that, let's say Alicia was principal of, it's different. It's totally different. It changes the whole dynamic of school. So, but the parents have been supportive. They have. But it's everywhere. I mean, I left Oakland because of that. I mean, because teachers were not supported over there. And that's what I hope, that I support the teachers and the board and central office. I feel much more supported here than I did there. So,
So what's that for you, Bill?
It was funny that one of the ones that I had is in regard, he chased me with scissors.
really.
And the other day, I got a thing on Facebook to be his friend.
Oh, did you really?
Yes, I did. I got quite a lot.
It's crazy.
Your friend.
Yeah. I mean, the little girl headbutted me and I went like this and blood was running. I was like, oh my gosh. Like, I'm breathing and trying to keep myself calm. The mother in me wanted to come out, but yeah, it's tough.
Anybody ever considered proper for maybe a parent to come and sit with them?
Yes, I actually had a parent come in and sit with one of the first grade boys. Yeah. And the parent finally said, I'm taking him home. He doesn't need to be here today. So, because he was acting out with her in there. So, yeah.
Thanks for trying all that.
Yeah. That's what I'm there for.
It's been a learning experience.
Oh, it was. Yeah, it was.
It was.
He kept me on my toes. All I know is I need to get in better shape. Lesson learned from that.
Until the shoe's not healed.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Oh my gosh. But then you have to think, like, that's what I keep coming back to. I walk down to pre-K and take Prim and get them all wound up because they love Prim, and or go into a math class. Like, I had to reset myself because if you don't, it sucks the life right out of you. And I think a couple of the teachers that happened too. And so I'm gonna try to boost morale next year with that.
Thank you for your caring, thank you for all the reports, and thank you for all your work, your staff.
I'm blessed with the staff, for sure. For sure.
Any other questions?
All right, well, let me start by saying that I have got to quit cutting and pasting because I made a huge mistake. So I'm gonna give you this so we can discuss it and then I'm gonna take it back because I am not, like, my professionalism, I don't even want to give it to you, but we need to talk about these numbers. So I'd like to have this paper back. I will give you the correct data and we will email it out first thing tomorrow morning. I'm completely embarrassed about this. And I know exactly how I did it, because I cut and pasted, and I should not cut and paste, I should know about that by now. This is the end of the school year report. We ended the year with 909 students. We started the year with 911. Davis Thomas lost one student during the year. They ended the year at 192 students. Parker Valley stayed the same at 442. The high school lost one student, and they ended the year at 276. My improvement rates are where I messed up, and I know, again, it's because I was looking at a 9 weeks and not the whole year. But we ended up, Davis Thomas ended the year at 16.4%, which was a 4.8% improvement. Parker Valley ended the year at 12.7%, which was a 7.8% improvement. The high school ended the year at 14.7% improvement, or 7% attendance, which was 11.2% improvement. The county ended the year at 14.4% chronically absent, which was an 8.3% improvement. This is absolutely in credit to those communities and schools, individuals in the school building. Yes, I'm doing a lot of things to make parents think about attendance and aware of attendance. Every 9 weeks, we do send an attendance report card home. So every student gets an attendance report card. We're recognizing students for improved attendance. We're recognizing those perfect attendance. We're doing a lot of recognitions. So it's in the parents' mind. We're throwing stuff out there on social media. We just got to continue. We just got to keep that up. As far as truancy is concerned, we had 265 students receiving attention about attendance. Those are those letters from me, those phone calls from your communities and schools coordinators, those meeting times. We had 32 parent meetings held. We had 2 families involved in magistrate courts due to truancy, which meant 2 or more unexcused absences. That is down for us. And I really think that's because of all the attention we're putting on attendance and these meetings, trying to make them more aware. Our homeschool numbers, we have had 85 students involved in homeschooling during this school year. We had 3 students re-enroll in Tucker County schools during the school year. We had 8 graduate from homeschooling. We had 2 move from the Tucker County School District. We had 9 students apply for the Hope Scholarship. And currently, we are at 63 homeschool students. That changes daily. And just today, this data I put together a week or so ago. Just today, we had a parent who had intended in doing the Hope Scholarship, had intended to homeschool this year, leave our school system. They've changed their mind. So we have had, today alone, I had a parent call me and say, I don't want the Hope Scholarship now. I never got her application to begin with. So she had 3 students and she had applied to the state level and didn't submit it to us. But that was one student that is one family that's not going. Bob had a student that their intention was to enroll in a different school setting. They visited that school setting, changed their mind. So 6 today that we thought we were losing that were not. So yes, parents are really looking deep and thinking, trusting their hearts and making the right decisions. We right now have 37 Hope Scholarship recipients for the 24-25 school year. We currently have 57 for the upcoming school year. You guys don't see those Hope Scholarship Notice of Intents. They go straight to, we get those here. There is an application that I have to go into and submit that information to the treasurer's office. Then they are required to submit assessments to us. We had four individuals that we did not get assessments for, so they will not be receiving the money. So they will be coming
So
back.
there is something watching
Yes.
if they don't.
Yes. And there's a certain score they have to, so we have one that's leaving Hope because they didn't have the scores that they needed to have to continue to receive Hope. So I think that these numbers are going to change. They change every day. We did not have any dropout students this year. A lot of times when they're adamant that that's the direction they want to go, we really try as a last ditch effort. Are you sure you don't want to do a virtual, the West Virginia Virtual Academy, a Ken Foster, something so that you have some kind of diploma? Or do you want to do some kind of homeschooling curriculum so that you can say you got a homeschool diploma and not a dropout? So we beg and plead when we get to that point. So we don't want the dropouts. That's just, they just don't understand what they're doing to the rest of their lives if that's the decision that they make. So I wanted to also, this data I do know is right, so I spent all day working on it, and it's a new document. So let me have this one back, and I will have to do a new one tomorrow, because it just embarrasses me. My belly hurts.
That would be the first time and ever, so.
That, my belly hurts because that's from.
Yeah, so.
So this is, just so that you know some of the things that I am doing. This will be my third year during the summer. I send a letter home to every family. And I give them their attendance data from that school year. And it has a chart on it, and it asks them to look at where they're at. And the chart is the 100% to 95% attendance, the 94.9 to 90% attendance, and the below 90%. And everything is color coded. And I just kind of wanted to show you where our numbers are this year. Davis Thomas had 81 students that were in that green. They had 83 students that were in the yellow. But I wanted to see how many did get close. So we had 43 students. So almost half of those kids, or over half of those kids, missed it by 2 days. Can they improve on those 2 days? I think they can. And then we had 28% below 90%. And we just have those. We have kids who truly have chronic health issues. We have some families that are in vacation every year. It doesn't matter what we say or do, they're going to do that. But it's getting better. Tucker Valley had 186 green letters going out. 192 are in that yellow, but 107 of those just missed it by 2 days. So they were at that 93% attendance. So they're close. And 64 in the red. The high school in this data is minus the seniors, because when I ran the report, the seniors had already been pulled out. We had 72 in the green, 100 in the yellow, and 35 in the red. My goal for next year is to have 50% of our students in that green. I think that is a reasonable goal. I think we can do that. I want to have 40% in the yellow, which is going to be moving 5% from the red to the yellow. But I think we can do that, and I really would like us to be at 10%. If we're at 10%, then we would be yellow or green on our balanced scorecard. And of course, green is what we want our circle of the balanced scorecard. So with our communities and schools, with writing grants to the Endowment Foundation to give us some funds to help do some more things, with our back to school event that this year is going to be on the mountain. All those things to just keep reminding parents about attendance. And we're going to continue to do those attendance report cards. We're going to continue to do the incentives in the buildings. We're going to continue to just talk about attendance all the time and move away from that. Is it excused or unexcused? We don't care if it's excused or unexcused anymore. What we care about is, are they in the seat or are they not in the seat? And our focus really has to be, you need to be in the seat. And I think that's why the number of students that we've taken to court this year has decreased, because really our focus has been, we need you at school. We don't care if it's an unexcused or excused, it's an absence. So hopefully, I will let you know as we go through the year where we are on my goal.
So you're saying if they have a doctor's excuse, that's an absence?
Yes. If you are not in school, it's an absence. If you are not in the seat. So when we look at some of these kids that are in the red, we have students who had 20, 30 doctor's excuses. They're not in their seats. They're not being educated. They're affecting everyone in that classroom, because the next day when they're back, that teacher has to stop. They have to go back and reteach. They have to deal with makeup work, grading things later, getting tests later. It is detrimental to everyone in the classroom. So isn't the kids who are coming tardy and leaving early. And I will let you know, I'm terribly unhappy with the West Virginia Department of Education, because they have removed, we were told that we were going to have quarter days next year, that our tardy was going to be a shorter amount of time, and that we would be taking attendance on quarter days. The state has decided that's too difficult, and they have changed that. Did we go off for a while?
I don't know, I got a text that said, are you not sure tonight? Yeah.
So I don't know why. I'm sure they're going to explain that in 2 weeks at the statewide attendance directors meeting, that I will not be attending because I will be getting a child married. So, and they just told us a month ago when their statewide attendance meeting was going to be. Sorry, I can't be there. We have a very strong regional attendance cooperative that we meet once a month, and anything that I miss, my group will make sure that I know what's going on. About 2 years ago, the state divided us up, very similar to Teresa's, which we don't have anymore, but they put us in a region, and we meet once a month. We have threads on in our emails, everything. Any hiccup that I ever have, I go straight to my group, and my group, we work through it. So it's going to be okay for every minute. But I'm very, very, very disappointed. I thought the quarter days were going to help us with these parties, help us with these kids leaving early. After they meet, I probably am going to come back to you and consider changing how we look at tardies and leaving early, to maybe make them, because right now it's a quarter day, so it's 90 minutes. We could be tardy 90 minutes, and maybe we as a county need to adjust that, because I think 90 minutes is too long. That's a couple classes to be tardy. So I'm going to see what the rest of the state is doing, and I'm going to come back to you. That's very similar to what we did with our out-of-county transfers, and let's change our policy so that we are helping our students.
What does the letter go home to each parent about their child's attendance?
For this information, the beginning of August. Because in that letter, it will also invite them to the back-to-school event.
It's all individualized.
So in my house right now, there's about 600 envelopes spread across my couch in alphabetical order, and written on the back, all the family members so that I save and just send. But yeah, I've done this for the last 2 years. This will be the 3rd year.
Can you imagine if we did that about test scores? I mean, I listen to all this and how much better it is and how much effort's getting put in and reports and, I mean, just, it's wonderful. And there's a lot of improvement, and then we wonder,
I mean, the families get their test scores on the portal now, so they get like,
so nothing formal.
well, it comes individualized for their student directly to their email. And then they log in through their portal and it'll show them their kids' growth, but it's individualized, kind of like a little cartoony.
The cartoon's gone.
Oh, is it?
The cartoon is gone. So Cambium, which is where we do the general summative assessment, is also where we do the benchmarking. And parents, there's a family portal in Cambium. So
they have to do.
parents can see
They have to do that.
their benchmarks and their final scores. So
If they want.
the big problem has been in the past, we've taken that test in May and families have not gotten the results until September. This year, you took the test in May and within 2 weeks.
Yeah.
2 weeks was the longest, and that's because some students' writing portion was hand scored. But like when you took the math, the next day you didn't see your math scores. They were there.
To me, this is all different. I mean, it's there for you to look, you can go look, and you can go, and on the other hand, here's your, in print, it's, you know, it's just,
I don't like it, but I will tell you that the Office of Assessment will no longer print them for us and strongly encourages us not to print them. That parents, that this is 2025 and they should be logging in to see their student scores.
but you're not doing attendance that way.
Right.
Well, when we switch to the new Weebus portal next year, parents will be able to see their students' attendance
Yes.
when they log in. Right now, they have no way, other than the things we send them, and they would log into live grades, but it wasn't always correct in live grades because if a student missed a class or say they were, I don't know, driving for driver's ed, but they got marked absent in the class that they got pulled out of, it would show up as an absence in live grade. So what next year, parents have a login for Weebus where they can see all their student absences. They can, because grades, everything is moving to Weebus. It's not going to be on live grades anymore where they logged in to check their students' grades. So they'll see all the discipline write-ups for their children. They'll see all their absences, everything they will have access
The
to
communications with teachers, so everything's
in
going to be in a
Weebus.
portal in Weebus.
So you don't have to do this then.
And they still feel like it's necessary. Like, I'm old school, I think they
Oh,
need
no,
to see
I
it.
too.
Like this year, like in the past, it was like a white sheet of paper. This year, I'm literally color coding every child. So if you're green, you're getting a green sheet of
Well,
paper.
I'm
If you're
all-
yellow.
You know me, I'm
Yeah.
all of that now. I just wish that we could be able to test scores too.
But you know, Alicia and I will talk about that and, you know, maybe printing out the test scores is the best thing to do too. If we think that parents are not logging in to see. And then the Office of Assessment can see if parents are logging in. I can't, I don't have that ability. But maybe we do need to send them home. And we can have them printed out and ready, we can mail them, or we can have them ready at the back to school event.
Football can say that, or we can say postage. It's a thought, just a thought. Just a thought.
So if you are a 5th or 8th grader, you would have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sheets of paper in that envelope. So I don't know if we'd be saving postage or not. But yeah, maybe we do need to be a little bit more vigilant about getting the test scores. Thank you.
Thanks. Anybody have any questions for Amber?
Nothing on information items, nothing on discussion. Down to attendance exceptions, we got one for Turkey Valley and one for the high school, or two for the high schools. Just letting you know that, just so you see that.
It is saying the live stream is offline. It is saying that the live stream is offline. I just tried to get on
I think it's
it. See, there's one
there
person
may have
waiting.
been a button that I missed.
It says one person is waiting and there's no, it's offline. I just thought I'd try to log in just to see. It's
It's not
not,
working. That's.
It's recording,
it's
so,
not broadcasting.
yeah,
So we'll just
so
post
I can
the
record it.
post it later.
No problem, I
but
was just letting you
It's
know.
still recording. That's strange.
Technology's great when it works, when it doesn't, with the punt. Down to the consent agenda, do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Second.
Any questions on the minutes of the previous meeting? Payment of bills? And use of transportation? All in favor to approve the consent agenda? Passes 5-0. Down to personnel.
All right, under professional resignations and retirement, we recommend the following action is presented. Hannah Evans resignation as elementary teacher at TV EMS effective June 30th, 2025.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
This one is B seconds. Any discussion? All in favor? Passes 5-0.
Nothing under service resignations and retirements, nothing under extracurricular resignations or retirements. Under professional employment, we have two. Are you going to take these together?
Good, everybody else good?
That's fine.
Okay. We recommend the following action as presented. Janelle Gaynor, 7th, 8th grade science teacher at TV EMS, beginning with the 25-26 school year. And Melinda Mosey, elementary teacher at TV EMS, beginning with the 25-26 school year.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor? Passes 5-0.
Under service employment, are we good to take these together?
Yes.
Okay. We recommend the following action as presented. Lindsay Knox, cook 2 at TCHS, effective with the 25-26 school year. Craig Thompson, custodian 2 at TV EMS, effective with the 25-26 school year. Alicia Bennett, cook 2 at TV EMS, effective with the 25-26 school year. And James Arbogast, chief mechanic bus operator, effective July 1st, 2025.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second. Discussion. All in favor? Passes 5-0.
Under extracurricular employment, does anybody have any conflicts with any of these, or do we take them together?
Everybody else good?
Everybody good? Okay. We recommend the following action as presented. Danielle Pennington, assistant cheerleading coach at TCHS, beginning with the 2025 season. Madeline Knotts, assistant cheerleading coach at TV EMS, beginning with the 2025 season. Hers will be pending background check and certification. Dustin Lucier, middle school golf coach, DT EMS and TV EMS, beginning with the 2025 season. Gina Carroll, assistant girls volleyball coach at TCHS, beginning with the 2025 season. Valerie I, STEAM teacher for summer school at TCHS, effective July 14th through July 25th. 2025. Kristen Hicks, elementary special education teacher for summer school, retroactive to June 16th. Donna Aiken, special education teacher for extended school year, retroactive to June 16th. And Christina Drenning, 21st century student family and community liaison for summer school, retroactive to June 1st, 2025.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Passes 5-0.
Nothing under leave.
Down to policy updates.
This is just an update to policy 0147, which is board member compensation, so that you all start being paid at the correct rate beginning in July. So that's the only change to that policy. Do you read it?
And also,
And it just requires one reading.
also, meetings, all that stuff.
Yeah, it's in another one. I thought this one was more to get your compensation done, and I'll get the meeting changes on the next one.
Do I have a motion to approve With roll call.
So moved.
Second, all in favor? Or discussion? Discussion. That's fine.
Back to you.
Nothing on finance and budget, cause all says none. Nothing new business, calendar approved for board members. We do have, self-appraisals where it's just due by end of the month, it's just very quick and easy, so if anybody has not done the self-appraisal, should have been email sent out last week.
Yeah.
And then the Karen Wine, then the Turtle Valley, and then the Biggs Thomas, and then the high school. Next regular meeting, they hold Monday, July 21st, 2025, at 4:30 here at the board office. The motion to adjourn.
So moved. Second.
I love that all this stuff.
I'm just trying to get-
Yeah.